Hey guys, I'm Captain Foley, and of course I'm joined by Commander Cockings.
Hi guys.
Alright, so today is kind of a special experiment. This is a pilot version of a Fleetyards style mission briefing. We're not sure what the name of the show is going to be yet, so right now it's Fleetyards mission briefing.
Yeah.
But please keep in mind that full Fleetyards will still be done should we hit our Patreon goals.
Yeah, if we hit 1,000, of course, we'll do the full season of Fleetyards. Season 1 will start. There'll be regular Fleetyards with all full animations, the renders, scale, everything you can want from from the NCA Protector we did. That's all coming. We've got some great lined up ships, but this is the hybrid between the Trekyards and the mission briefing. We're going to give some information, but do the same sort of look at, review, first reaction thing of these ships from any different universes.
And I gotta say, I'm the Star Trek guy. I haven't really watched a lot of these other franchises. He's more of the multiverse kind of guy.
Yes.
So considering this is a pilot episode, I'll be your pilot. I'll be driving the bus. He'll be the tour guide, giving you all the information. And this is the first time I've seen the ship. We're going to be going into these with me not really seeing the ship beforehand a lot of the times, unless I've selected the ship, which will happen eventually.
Yes.
But yeah, so first time I'll see it as soon as the first picture pops up. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what it is, so it should be interesting.
One of the great things about this show is that every shot is going to be an original 3D render of a model we have. So these are full high quality renders. It's going to look good. So Stuart, click on to the first picture of this ship. Today we are looking at Talon from the series Farscape. This is an organic ship, half organic, half technological. This was the child, as it were, of the bioship Moya, which is a living sort of Leviathan whale entity in Farscape and the primary character. This is the child, Talyn, and we're going to give you some information as we go down the line. But Stuart, what do you think of the Talon? Or Talon?
First impressions, just based on the overall shape and color, I think Batman. I think this is this is Robin's version of the Batwing. It's kind of got the Robin colors. It's got a feather motif on the struts there. So I think it's very cool. It's got a beak. It's got a tail. It does look like a bird to me.
Now, this is a peacekeepers were the race in Farscape that was sort of the peacekeeping entity, the humanoid race, and this was an experiment to try and breed the next level of sort of gunnery, smaller craft. They've got huge, mile-long ships in their command carriers, but this was going to be a very, very powerful, smaller ship with organic, which means it has a sentience. So this is an organic ship. Do you get the organic vibe from it?
Not initially. No,
Not
but
initially.
now that when you explain it, I can see some of those, almost like veins on it. So
Yes.
I can kind of see that kind of thing going on. Yes.
Now, as with a lot of these ships, there isn't a set scale per se. The only online source I could find said 500 meters. So that is pretty hefty of a ship. That's, the Sovereign is 660-ish, so it's pretty meaty. But in the show, it can be operated by a single person with a neural interface, which links directly into links you with the mind of the vessel. But the crew we only saw it was about 6. But if you, what does that say to you scale-wise for a 500-meter ship?
Well, it's fairly big. I mean, when you look at Star Trek ships, what's the Enterprise
The Connie's
Constitution class
289 meters.
Meters?
289
meters. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fairly big. I mean, I don't know. I know that I said I can see veins on it, but looking at that gun on the top, I don't see an organic vibe to it. Guns and windows kind of negate organic to me.
That's the point. It's a hybrid. It's that combination of tech. But I completely disagree with the online size scale, because those windows, if they're portholes, that is not a lot. And that gun would be 80 meters long. I mean, it's meant to be like a sort of a gunship. And always from what I felt in the show, it was not near that size. So I would say it was close to 150, a closer to Defiant size. The corridors are sort of big, but it hasn't got many of them. Maybe 2 decks. I would say crew cabins, so maybe 8 or 10 people. Not huge. We'll go to the next picture, an aft shot. I think this is where you really see the organic side. These these arms, sort of very, very, very ocean life form, very squid, very very. I don't know. What do you think about the nave getting a greater sense of the feel for the ship?
Well, it looks like a totally different ship from behind. From the front, I got that bird vibe. This one, it's more of an aquatic kind of squid feel to me. And I can see more of an organicness back here. I don't know if I'm off base saying that, but that's just what my first impression of it. You gotta remember, guys, it's the first time I've ever seen this ship ever. So I haven't watched Farscape, so this is a newbie view on the ship. So
in the show, the Fast and Light is called, I can't remember what it's called, but it's where the two outer prongs sort of come in a bit and join up slightly with the middle one. It then creates an energy ribbon, a sort of circle on the ship, which then goes to the front of the ship, creates that portal, and it zooms in. So the back is where the FTL sort of drive is, and it pulls itself into FTL space. So it all sort of moves a little bit as well. But yeah, do you want to go to the next picture? Sort of reverse side, you get to see the difference in colour and how the organic shapes are, and it's I love this ship. I think it's a really beautiful design. I can't wait for the full episode to see it in motion, to see it and compare with Starfleet ships, because it's a very different stylistic ship to anything in Trek. I don't know if you agree with that.
I do. I was just going to mention that it kind of looks almost like one of the Sona ships, with that kind of swept back. From the back, anyway. From the front, that looks totally different. Yeah, I would love to see this beside some Star Trek ships and actually do some comparison shots. I think that'd be fantastic. So,
but it doesn't. If you look at this shot, it doesn't really give any sense of scale, does it?
No, not at all. And like you said, that gun on the top. A, it takes me away from the organic nature of it. B, it does make the ship seem a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, is that the only weapon that this thing has, or?
Well, primarily yes. If we talk about the information, it's armed with sonic ascendancy cannon, and that is a beast of a gun. It's not necessarily the best against capital ships, but you can punch holes right through smaller ships very easily, and a lot of other ones. And it's meant to be a gunship. Apparently, that's its main role. But yes, it's a beast. This was powerful in the universe. Very fast as well.
Well, for a gunship, I'd expect more guns. You know what I mean?
See, I had never considered that, because the way you see it in the show, there's not that many battles, but that single gun, when it fires, it just rips through. But you're right. I mean, Moya, the Leviathan, the hero ship, has no weapons. It's sort of a living beast. I mean, it's what's it got? You know, its Starburst, which is the Fast and Light, I remember the name, is its weapon in a sense that it escapes. There's nothing else to it. But this is the ability. The design was to give it that, you know, hugely maneuverable, hugely, you know, as with all organic ships and how they, you know, other franchises you link with them, reaction times are so quick that it beats any push buttons, and that sort of maneuverability can be hugely important in any sort of battle. I mean, you can imagine a squadron of these and hit and run.
Did you almost say a flock? Did you almost say a flock?
Possibly, I don't. Yeah, maybe. But you can imagine a squadron of these hit and run. You can't even hit them because they're that maneuverable, pummeling through, and they're just getting away. I mean, very, very interesting design. Like you say, that's where the gun really pulls away. But that I suppose is its only armament. I hadn't considered that.
Oh, you know what it really looks like now? Actually, that you've kind of started talking about it more, and I was having a chance to look at it while you're talking. Yeah. It looks like the Naboo starfighter.
It does a bit. Yeah. Is that good or bad?
That's good. I like the Naboo starfighter. I think it's a cool design. So
this is certainly more organic, though. That has lovely shapes, but this is but let's go to the next picture. An underside, and for me personally, this gives it such a sense of like skin, like hide, of like not necessarily living tissue.
Looks like a whale almost from the bottom.
Well, that's what the Moya creature's meant to be. The ship. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's such a red is the color of the Peacekeepers. That's this stark contrast. But you look at this, it feels like the underbelly. I mean, it's meant to look. It doesn't look aggressive. Does it look aggressive to you? That's a question.
I think it does. Yes. It seems a little bit more benign from the bottom and that way. But if you turned it backwards and had it going
right,
then it would look way more aggressive. But yeah, I can see kind of a gentle like whale. Like you're looking up at a whale that's going above you, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I can see that. But it does have those sharp points, which to me speaks a little bit of an aggressive nature. So
it's just got that strangely organic yet. I mean, I was unbiased because I know the show, but it does feel great for the role. And it's worth pointing out this is not the official model from the show. This is a game model that's converted to Lightwave years ago. But I love the detail of it. It's a wonderful model, and it really does show it in good detail. But yeah, it's just a.
Now, I gotta ask: is that black part more of kind of like an armor plating? Because I get that kind of vibe from it, that the black is probably a lot tougher than the red part.
Yeah, I mean, we see the windows on the top. So my assumption is that in the top, that's where the living quarters are. That's where the functional systems are. And the bottom, like a boat, has that stronger sort of shell, has that coating, has that protection, so that you almost, if you want to fly, you shoot, and then you turn, it might get hit, but it's got that, or it could be the weaker side. But I mean, the way this model's been done, it does feel like a strong, very robust sort of body.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I see, now I'm looking at it, I really can't get a sense of scale. There's no. We know there is a ability to fly in a transport pod, which is the organic ship. So there's a hangar in it. I don't know where the hangar is. You never see exterior shots of it too much. So I don't know. But if you go on to the next shot, you get a great front view, and again, completely changes the look. I think it was difficult to try and represent the ship and give it a good feel. But what do you think about the shot?
Interestingly enough, from the front here, it looks very much like a scorpion. You got the two claws, and
Yes.
you even have the stinger, which is the gun. I mean, it could be a tail behind, you can't really tell. So I get a very, very scorpion vibe from this.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you see that, but
Oh, absolutely. That's what, I hadn't thought that. I love, though, the arms are so bony and like, you really get this view. It's clearly an animal, And if you took out the windows and added two like eyes, this would be an animal, a spacefaring race. But now you can see the scale, and again, with this disclaimer, it's not necessarily the real one, but we're going with what we have here. Looking at the windows, that's a lot of windows in one place, but that is actually quite a deep ship. If that's each a room or a couple of things in a room, I mean, actually, how big is this ship, do you think? I mean, how many people... It certainly is more than a 4 or 5 person crew.
Well, see, again, it goes back to that whole scaling the thing by the window size and the gun.
Yes.
Now, at first glance, if I didn't know anything about the ship, which I don't, except for what you told me, I would think that gun's maybe the size of the gun on the top of a Millennium Falcon, let's say.
Okay.
So that this ship is not very big at all, in my opinion. Especially with those portholes, like you said.
Yeah.
So just based on the way it looks, I would say maybe a crew of like 15 max. Not a big ship.
Yeah, the internal bridge set, which I absolutely adore, has multiple consoles, so you can do manual or not manual. Because when they designed the ship, because they sort of... The way that the ship actually came about was the peacekeepers obviously had a flock. They go of the Moya class Leviathans, and they put a sort of a chemical that would give a pregnancy, that would impregnate the creature, but the DNA was encoded into the substance to create a biological experiment. Every other Leviathan died in childbirth / didn't work. This was the first example. It was an accident actually started, but the reason is because every other Leviathan was impregnated under captivity, and because they're living creatures, they knew that. And there's something called a command collar, which stopped them from doing what they wanted. Whereas this one, Moya, actually was free living, so it worked. And as part of the DNA of it was to create a very much more user-friendly, human-friendly bridge, because it was built to be designed to be operated by people, so it was a much more military organization, whereas the Moya, it's all, if she lets you control her, you can. And this ship, you have overrides, you have the ability to even, I think, called paint the ship if you there are things you can do in the bridge, but it's a pretty interesting vessel. But the size of those portholes, it doesn't make me think it's 500 meters, but it certainly feels bigger to me. Like you could have maybe even 80, 90 people on board as part, maybe some ground troops, dock into a hangar, get them out. We do know from the show that the gun is meant to be a big gun. Like it isn't a small gun, it is a proper, like, a gun of a command carrier. Like, this is a platform for a capital ship gun.
So like a big cannon or like a railgun kind of thing, like something that's really huge.
Yeah, if you think about more the aircraft carrier, there's the biggest gun on the aircraft carrier. That's like you've got this one big gun, and it can operate it because it's an organic being. It can think, and it can have a very, very fast fire rate. That was another difference it had to the other vessels. And if we go to the next picture, though, we got closer with the gun. I do like how they detailed it. It's not overly detailed, but I like how they did, and it can go into the ship and then come out. But it's what do you think?
Okay, so it's retractable then, right?
Yes, it can go in and then come out, so it can be in sort of peace mode and stuff. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. It looks good. It doesn't look anything really Star Trek-ish. It looks very much generic sci-fi, I guess. I don't know if Farscape would be considered generic sci-fi, but
yeah.
It could also it looks like it'd be easy adaptable into like a hand pistol, shape wise. I mean,
possibly for a
obviously
giant.
not size wise.
Yeah.
Looks almost like a transformer.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, we're gonna go to the last picture, and then Stuart, just we've got a few minutes left. Scroll through them. Is there anything else you see? Anything else talking about? I mean, what do you think of the ship now? Having looked at it, do you think it's a cool ship? Do you think it fits? I mean, what do you think as a person who likes aesthetics and likes ship design? What is your opinion?
It is a very cool ship. The only angle I'm not huge on it is this last picture, the first 3/4 view that we saw.
Okay.
Like I said, it looks very bird-like,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, in there, and I think it's missing something on the top to kind of give it an accent. But every other view of it here is fantastic. Like, and it looks way more organic from every other angle except for that 3/4 view.
Okay.
I would love to see like straight, it's from the top down kind of thing.
Yeah.
As well, like full orthos of it would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I get a real sense from every other picture that it's organic, but from that first picture, I would not say organic at all.
Okay.
So,
Well, as part of this is to show you all different angles, and we use set angles for each vessel we're going to choose to get the same sort of feel and really cover them well. But yeah, this is one of my favourite ships. It's sort of like top 10 in all of sci-fi, because not only do I love the stories on the Talon, I love its backstory, that it's really nicely thought out. Its sets are great. It's this sort of dramatic, rape hybrid almost of a living organic whale, but it's this powerful, it's this child, and you see it have tantrums and grow up throughout the seasons.
That's just what I was going to ask. Since it's an organic creature, does it age? Like, would it actually die of old age?
Yeah, it's smaller at the start and it grows, and I believe it is a certain size. Yeah, right when you see it later on, it is bigger. And it's like a third of the size of her the mother, because you see it literally being birthed out of the mother. It's much smaller because it's a baby, and it grows with the person who's controlling her, who's not the best person for the job, who is a former peacekeeper. He might not be the most evil guy, but at the end, though, the last bit of talent, he does sacrifice itself to save his mother, does redeem himself. He does some dodgy things. Because
spoilers. Well,
I haven't given too much away, but it's imagine giving the big thing about Talon is imagine giving a 2-year-old an assault rifle, sniper rifle, that you can blow up a building with, and what does that mean, and that sort of
the whole aspect that it grows, brings up a lot of questions. Does the internal space change? Do you add more hallways and stuff? Does the bridge grow bigger, or does it stay the same?
I believe the bridge is always the same, but I believe the bridge, and then there's a certain docking area, and then you're right. The tissue, I think the bottom section of the tissue then grows and forms, and new corridors are built, and it's a really interesting thing. You don't see that much of it, but in the season you do. You get a lot. But that's obviously after it's grown a bit.
It's interesting. Great concept.
Yeah, and I really love it in motion. And like I say, it's very powerful in the show. I wish it had survived longer. But yeah, it's what do you think compares to Trek design? I mean, would you? Certainly not necessarily what you want to see in the Trek universe. It's a bit out of the box. But how do you think it compares to sort of what you like when it comes to ship design?
Well, I could see it being for like a Xindi. The Xindi avians, which were extinct, I believe.
Yes.
Maybe they had a ship that looked like this, kind of bird-like from some angles. I like it. I mean, overall, as far as spaceships go, it's got a very interesting story that is part organic. I love that. That opens up so many possibilities and questions in my mind that I just love to watch that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely up there with some of my favorite looking ships right now. I mean, I'm going to get introduced to a lot of new ships in this show. So
yes, you are.
Well, you are too. I think I have a few that I might surprise you with, but
sounds good.
Yeah, I definitely feel like watching Farscape now and learning more about this thing, because this is fantastic.
Yeah, I just wish I had models of her, but I haven't got any. And I think when we get to her, we'll do all the dissection, work out the exact scale, work out how many decks.
You're going to dissect it? It's alive.
Oh,
Don't dissect it.
No. No, the season, because I think there's a lot to this ship, and I would love to talk about the Farscape designers, because I just think it's such an interesting. It's so simple, but has so much character.
Indeed.
And I don't think this paint scheme normally would work bright red, but I think for this it does. And you're right, Scorpion is a great way. I hadn't considered that, but Scorpion I think is bird / scorpion. There you go.
/ whale.
/ whale. / baby whale.
There you go.
Okay, closing thought, Stuart. Closing thought.
Well, like I said, it makes me want to watch Farscape, and there's so many questions that arose in my mind when you said it was organic and that it grew. Yes. I mean, that opens up so many possibilities. So yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea. I love it.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Cool. Okay.
The gun on the top reminds me of the Future Express, or the Planet Express ship from Futurama.
This one's more powerful. But I think that is it for this pilot of Fleetyard Mission Briefing. Hope you guys have enjoyed this show. It's a test bed to see. We sort of go information, not information, but I love having the original renders. I don't know how you feel compared to another, like, Trek. I know we do that for Trekyards Mission Briefing itself, but these clear, crisp pictures that you can zoom in, high resolution.
Great resolution, yeah.
Yeah, and you guys will love it, I think. And yeah, to close this out, Stuart.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for this pilot episode of Fleetyards Mission Briefings, which the name may change, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. Please go over to our Patreon and donate what you can. We need to hit our goals, and then we can bring you full Fleetyards on a regular basis, where you'll learn all the details about all these ships from all these different franchises, and get it presented in an excellent, exciting manner. So
yes, because each Saturday show does take the most time. That's why we still get them out every week, but to another quality equivalent takes just as much time. So we need your support to help us cover those bills, take that time, and bring you the best, and dissections, and dissecting the information and theories and discussions and scales and all these things you want to see, something new, new from these ships. Please donate what you can on a monthly basis. Will help us get to that point. Only $1,000. We're not that far off. Support what you can, and you'll see this ship in full detail, full glory later down the line.
And don't forget about Trekyards. If you're not a Star Trek fan, or if you are a Star Trek fan, head on over to trekyards.com or look up Trekyards on YouTube. You'll find some great stuff. So if you enjoyed this episode and enjoyed the commander and myself chatting back and forth about ship designs, it's definitely worth checking out.
Yes.
But anyways, we'll see you soon, guys. Thank you for watching this, and have a great day. This is Captain Foley.
And Commander Kongs.
Signing off, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.